this trim piece off, just use a trim tool. Get behind here and pop it out. There's a little push clip right there, and then it slides up. Pop this bezel off. You can use a trim tool behind here. Just try to get underneath it, or a couple trim tools. Pops up like that, and then it slides out. Disconnect the mirror switch right here. You can use a small screwdriver or a pick. Just lift up on the little lock tab right there. Slide the connector out. And for this connector, we're going to use a Phillips head screwdriver. Take these two screws out. And slide that out. And if the switch comes with it, that's okay. Just set that aside. Take a Phillips head screwdriver, take this screw out. And the screw behind here. The screw right here. You can take this other trim piece off. Just get under here with a trim tool. And just slide it out. And there's another screw down here. If there's a cover on here, pop that cover off. This vehicle doesn't have that. There's another screw behind here. Take that one out. Now grab the door panel and just slide it up. And slide those switches or the wiring harness through. You're all set. It just slides right up. We're going to remove the speaker. Use a 7mm socket. Take these screws out. And just slide it out. You can disconnect the connector. Just push down on the tab and slide it out. The connector for the mirror is right there. You just take some of that vapor barrier out of your way. And you can take a trim tool, just get in here, just try to pry it out a little bit. It's a little bit easier to access over here. And pull up on the lock tab and disconnect it. Now just take these nuts off. Use an 11mm socket. And once you get to the last one, make sure you support the mirror from the outside so it doesn't fall. And grab the mirror and just slide it out. Pull the wiring harness through, just like that. Take the wiring harness, slide that in that hole right there, and kind of fish that down a little bit. And slide that down. All right, with the studs lined up. With the studs lined up, take one of the nuts and get that started. Once that's started, you can let go of the mirror. And get the other one started. Before we tighten those up, just make sure the wiring harness is run the correct way. Make sure it's not coming on this side of the window track. So it's behind it, and then we can plug that in. Line that connector up, lock it down, and then reposition the wiring harness where it was and secure it down. Just like that. Now we can tighten these nuts down. Just snug, not too tight. That's good. And reinstall the vapor barrier. Try to line it up the best you can. And anywhere where you ripped it, just tape it back on. That's good. Reinstall the speaker. Reach in, grab the wiring harness, and just plug it in. Lock it down. And put the screws back in. And tighten them down. Not too tight. Take the door panel, slide the wiring harness through. And just make sure you get the lock rod lined up. Just get the panel lined up. And just slide it down, make sure it's all the way in, all the way around. That looks good. Now take the screws, get these all started. It's good to get them all started before you tighten them down, in case it has to shift a little bit. And down below. And now we can snug these all down. Snug. Take the cover and slide the switch in and get these two screws started. Tighten those down. And plug the connector in, lock it down, and then slide this front part in first. And lock it down. Slide this trim piece on. Just line it up in the back. Take the screw, get that started, and tighten it down. And the last trim piece, slide it on, and lock it down.